Hello everyone, and welcome to today's live stream where I'll be doing a brief overview of how I made this wrinkle deformation effect for this Spider-Man suit. Now, I am using Blender 4.1 because apparently Blender 4.5 is like half as fast with this model. It's not because of the mesh, it's because of something with the shader, which I think there's a bug about that, but unfortunately Eevee Next is still a lot slower and a lot blurrier when it comes to animation, so we're in Blender 4.1 for today, but this will work in future versions. So let's go and switch to the high-res version of the mesh so that we can see this in all of its detail. So right here we can see that without the wrinkle tension map texture bump thing, it looks, good, but still rather simple. And with it, it just adds in that little bit of detail that helps, sell the realism. As we can see over here in the stomach area, we can do that where here, everything looks super smooth. And with that, there's just a bit more. Now, again, this is not a handcrafted texture, it's just noise, but we'll get into that. If you want to, do this for real, I would recommend, actually authoring a wrinkle map texture, though I may try a procedural way of making that, but we'll get into that later as well. But yes, we can see that the wrinkles look amazing, so let's take a look at how they're made. So let's go to the body shader and take a look at the tension attribute, which we are using here. So tension, if we take a look at this, we can see that we have two colors, red and green. Now this is because I wanted to be a bit of an overachiever with this effect. I wanted to make it so that there could be horizontal and vertical stretching and wrinkles and all that. Well, classically, you would only have a black and white mask, or a red and green mask, but that would be for stretching or compression. With this one, it's horizontal or vertical stretching, or compression in this case. Either way, we can see here there's green, we can see here there's red, and if we go and separate the two axes, we can see that one is horizontal, this one is horizontal, red is vertical. And we go and use that inside of the shader to multiply noise textures. So as you could assume, we have one going up, one going to the side, combine them with a smooth maximum, even though this could be a regular maximum, use a nice little map range, multiply it for the animation, throw that into the bump map, and then call it a day. So that's the effect. So how do we make this tension map, the thing that everything relies on? Well, there are two methods. One is the complex one for horizontal and vertical stuff. The other is for the simple deformation. So let's go over the simple deformation first. So here we can see just a black and white mask, which it doesn't care what orientation the faces are stretching in. It just says, okay, it stretched this much or this much. So for a quick breakdown of this, actually, let's go and recreate it right now. So first of all, let's go and move this up. We need a rest position attribute, which fortunately, if you turn on add rest position, it'll go and add in a rest position attributes that you can use. So here, we're going to place this mesh into its rest position and see what the face area is and compare that to the pose position, subtract the two, and then boom, you have your tension or compression map, just the grayscale version. So let's go and do that. So first of all, we need to store our pose position. So let's go and do that, just pose, get the regular old position into here. And then we're going to go and store our moving face area. So I know I used a capture attribute here, but just for clarity, I'm just going to do this here. So this will be pose face area. Yeah, we can, or I could just label it face area and just how I should have done this beforehand. Yeah, there we go. Pose face area. So for the face area, we want to get the face area node and square root it so that we don't have it, areas power of 2 and all that fun stuff. So we just need to undo that. And then what we want to do is place our mesh into the rest position. So let me go and remove the viewer. Let's go and use a nice set position node and go and get our rest position attributes. So right here, rest position, which is added in right here. So when we do that, we can see it moves it to the rest position. So now that we have this here, we can go and store our tension attributes by going over here, setting this to be tension, and then subtracting the old pose face area with the current face area. Let's go and do that. Let's go and put this named attribute over to here. Again, using named attributes just so that we don't have to worry about any spaghetti, which we can see over here had a bit of spaghetti. If we go and do that, we should see, we take a look at the viewer node right here, that we have the data, but we need to go and invert that. So let's move that over to there and that over to there. Bing, bang, boom. And we have all that. But now we need to move our mesh back to its pose position. So to do that, that is pretty simple. We just need to add in a set position node. We can just copy that over to here and have the pose be put into there. Now, I would recommend removing the temporary attributes after all this so that it doesn't use up more memory than it needs to, which is why you usually use capture attribute nodes, but it's fine. It doesn't really matter all too much, just a little bit more memory being used. But there we go, that is the simple method. So, I guess we can take a look at the complex method. Now with this one, if you have a texture map that is like attuned to where the folds would be, like over here you can make them arc like this, with this part you can make them curve over there, you would be set, you would be fine. Just a little bit less detail, but if you have that in the texture rather than with the compression map, you should, or compression data, you should be fine. But to do this in the way that I initially set it up, actually let's just go and remove that because, well actually no, I'll keep it around just in case people want to reference it. Again, right here, this is the simplified node setup with named attributes for simplicity. There we go, and I guess I could just put that over to there. Doesn't really matter too much, but yeah, that's a nice and simple setup using named attributes so that we don't have a ton of spaghetti going everywhere. Okay, now for the complex version, which has, you know, red and green. So, the way that this works is it finds out the triangle's compression and then sees how far along the UV tangent X and Y it is. And that is the tricky part, UV tangents. UV tangents are always annoying to work with. So in this case, I used my UV tangent setup from years ago, which looks like this under the hood, and I manipulated it so that I could do more without, so that I could get the data in a more efficient manner than needing like the normal and all that. So, long story short, with this tangent, which let's take a look at the face corner domain data, we can see that that stores the tangent data, but it's not normalized, so it also contains the compression data. So we get that, we compare the rest to the pose tangents, get the link between both of them, subtract, it's our vertical, and then this one's our horizontal, we combine them, make sure it's evaluated on the face domain, then we blur it, then we store it on the point domain. Which does lead to a few inaccuracies along the seam, but to be honest, I don't really care too much about it right now. So internally here, this is what it looks like. So this one, actually, I did not label that correctly. So here, it's a ton of math. I made this years ago referencing some sort of paper, I don't remember what, but I just took it and manipulated it so that we get the tangent and the bitangent. Again, not normalized, so it also contains the stretching or compression data. So that's what it looks like. You get the UV positions, do some math, and then you get the actual positions, do some math. You basically say, oh, how far along is the stretching along, like the UV, local space, tangent space, all that fun stuff. Then you go and do that, and then you have that. So it's complicated, but it works. So again, if you want to do it the simple way, just use this and have a better wrinkle map by default. Maybe I'll try making a wrinkle map by saying, oh, which faces are like closer together and all that, but not at this time, not at this time. So for that accurate tension map, that's how we do it. So yeah, that is basically it. And then internally here, let's go and get the shader back up and running and take a look at the shader. So this is the only part that deals with the wrinkles. Everything else is just stuff I set up probably over a year ago because this model is very old. I think I got it from Sketchfab, but I'm not sure. And then I basically redid all the bump maps procedurally, and then made the colors a bit more red and all that fun stuff. Basically, like normal warping, bump, and all that. Just don't worry about it. Like, if you have a regular, like, the type of textures and stuff that you should have, just go and do a bump map with the wrinkles, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Let's make sure that the audio is working. Yes, it is. I was talking away from the mic a little bit, but it should be okay. So there we go. Let's see. Just checking some channel stuff. Yes, that is that. So I guess I could go and test this a little bit more. The animation is very nice, you know, stretching the shoulders in a way that, you know, shoulders can move like that. Totally. We have that. If we go and move the neck, we can see that the compression works, even though the rig is very funny when it comes to this. Let's go and put that back there. But I wanted to try this. So let's go and make a new animation for it. So let's go and reset a bit of this. I just want to see how the stomach compresses without anything else. Let's go and, again, reset all to default values. Keep forgetting that I could just use backspace to do that quickly. There we go. I don't know why that part is freaking out like that, but I'm not going to question it. I probably screwed something up with the white paints. There we go. Let's go and do that. Move that. Move that. Actually, is the centerpiece back and forth? Nope. Fine. Let's go and reset as much of the animation as I can. Today's stream will be short just because many people were wondering how this effect was being done, and I just wanted to go over it real quick. It's still very much a work in progress. Like, there's probably a simpler way of getting the compression and all that. But for now, it's fine. Okay, so let's go and get you and you. Because I want to have the abdominal area compressed, because that works quite well. What just happened? Oh, that's the Wiggle Bones add-on. Which, why does it look like the head is disconnected? The rotation is off. Let me go. I think this is an old rig, so there's probably a lot wrong with it. Inherit rotation. There we go. Now, if we do that, we can see all that works fine. So the neck, the neck is hiding a little bit in there because the scale's all wrong. This armature was for an old model or kind of like my base test model. Let's select everything, make sure all the keyframes are deleted. Wait, what? Excuse me? Is there like a phantom keyframe somewhere in here? Doesn't appear like there is. We go and wait, let's make sure that's all in the right order. Yeah, no, why are you? Is it because of the Wiggle Bones add-on? I have that on right now because that helped with the animation, just to add in a little bit of wobble. But it appears like it's not doing what I want it to, so I'm just going to straight up disable it. Set all to default values. Okay. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Reset all view. Reset all view. Come on, buddy. Yeah, I'm quite confused as to why it was not working. Okay. Just go, reset it normally. Hopefully it'll be fine. There we go. Maybe it just needed a refresh. Okay, let's go and keyframe that. So it'll be like that, and then I'll just rotate these two so that we can see that. So again, here, no compression, a lot of compression, and then the animation switches it off and on. Look at that, that looks quite good. Let's go and move the camera so that it shows that part. I have another version of the file saved, so I won't be losing any progress. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, this one's fine. So we have this, it'll just show that part right there, and I want to make it so that the lighting looks good, because if the lighting's not good, then what's the point? I'll bring this over to here. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's some good lighting right there. But, you know, needs to be a little bit better. A little bit more. Let's go. I apologize for the weight painting error. That is a lot more evident than I would like it to be. I do not know why that happened. Let's see. Let's go and move that over to there. How does that look? Let me check the weight painting real quick. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. All this was pretty much automatic weight painting that I did probably over 2 years ago. Thumb, shoulder. Just want to check that there's, like, the main pose bone is not affecting that part, because I have a feeling it is. There's that upper leg, and then there's that upper leg. I don't know why. Yeah, there's nothing else affecting the midsection there. So that's weird. Torso. I know torso is fine. Spines are fine. What is the base? What did I label that? Of course, I can't select that normally. So again, there's that torso, and then there is the domain. Why did I call that domain? I'm discovering a lot of sins of the past, I guess. Let's see. Okay, that one is just not contained in there. Okay. I wonder what could be causing that. Anyway. Alright, let's go back to here, and yeah, with the animation, we're just going to go over to here. Pose mode, select you and you, move these back to here. Okay, so again, take a look at that. The lighting there could use some work, but we can see that, yep, the compression works just fine. And then I also want to make it so that the shoulders move as well, so that we can test that, so that we have vertical and horizontal things going on as well. So let me go and get you, switch it so that's local. Move you so that you're like, oh. Let's see, it's not compressing enough because there's so much deformation. Oh wait, no, it is working. I just have that part disabled at the moment. So let's just go and move these two. I'll disable the disabling of the effect. Just gonna make it so that that pose happens. I'm pretty sure, yeah, humans can move like that. Let's go and maybe rotate it a little bit. I'm pretty sure humans can move like that. Okay, shading. Let's go into the model. Oh, that looks very uncomfortable. And let's just go and mute that for the time being. Wait for it to recompute. Or recompile. That's the word I was looking for. There we go. So here we can see, and this is something that I want to work on. With the smooth maximum, it should make it that some of those parts, like right now they just perfectly overlap, which I don't really want, which is why in the future I plan on, yeah, we can see that right there. So a little bit of smoothing goes a long way. I want it to blend so much more, because it just compressing like that looks bad. It does not look good. Let's try to dial some things in and see how that looks. We could also do this where that actually doesn't look half bad. Just like, okay, the compression happens like, well, actually, no, that doesn't look too great. That part is like that. Here we can just limit how much that part occurs. Which that would be, that's like if the fabric was wet. Not if it was dry. Okay. So we can also lower the amount if it's a bit too much. But yeah, the crisscrossing there, I think I'll need to find a new way of doing this. Either a way, so I have two ideas in mind. One, I make a geometry nodes thing that basically says, oh, where would the wrinkles logically form? But then again, we can't know that until it's actually deformed. Because what if, oh, the neck, like, compresses, or, yeah. It can't know beforehand whether or not the stomach will fold this way or that way. unless a person were to manually put that in with textures. So I guess manually is maybe the way to go. We don't need you because all the bump maps are happening procedurally. You can see that over here. The compression is happening as well. So yeah, the shoulders, not the best. Let me just go and backspace that. Let's go back here, backspace I. So yeah, not great, not great. Oh yeah, the lighting being there works a lot better. And we can soften it up a bit more, which might look even better, maybe. No, I'll need to work on that. There, ooh, we get the nice reflections there. That's nice. But yeah. So it's not a one. Doesn't work immediately. Let's go and rotate you. You can see, oh wait, it doesn't affect the mask. Actually, I should make it work on the mask. Here, let me go and do that. Geometry nodes, let's do tension map. So right here, if I were to rotate the head, there we go. Now we can see that it is compressing that part. Just a little, just enough. Okay, any other parts? Now there is the backside, which is looking very weird. There should not be, something very wrong is occurring with the, let's see. Yeah, this rig is very broken. I apologize. It works enough. Again, right there and right there. I guess I could try using wiggle bones to add in a little bit of animation or physics-based animation there. Procedural, physics-based. Right there, just like that, and then it'll go and wobble into place. Let's go and turn on the low version so that we can actually see what we're doing. So here, it'll just be like that, and then it goes like that. Yeah, that works. Just like that, and then I could turn it on for you as well, so we have that. Yeah, but turn the dampening up because I don't think people move like that. Go, so like that. That was a bit too compressive. Needs a bit more. Yeah, that seems to be good. And we can make that wiggle as well. Even though the head does not move like that. Let's go and turn down the stiffness. Or maybe we need to turn it up. Yeah, no. Da-da. Yeah, maybe turn down damping a little bit. That, and then yeah, that works just fine. And then maybe just add in a little bit of the compression that we had before. You are I could just a little bit of manual animation is fine, but let's turn on wiggle bones because it'll work. Should work, right? Wait, why is it having major issues? Huh. Quite odd. Yeah, I don't know why it's freaking out a ton. Add-ons, am I right? But no, the Wiggle Bones add-on has been useful for this project. Just a little bit of slouching in the shoulders. Even if I do need to make it bounce back a bit manually, which is how I should be doing it, but maybe not like that. Actually, let's just keyframe you right there. Move you back. Yeah, I want it to just be There we go. So up there, and then it goes down. Maybe more like that. Okay, almost. And a little bit of overshoot there. Oh, little bit of overshoot. That's probably a bit too much. Actually, no, that's a good new pose for it. So we do that. There, we go like that. And then we do that. Very nice. Nope. Then I can probably make him just return to his original state. Even though all that's happening with just those two. Let's go and select you. A bit worried. Oh, yeah, nope. Oh wait, why did that happen? Let's go and make sure. Oh, that's the wiggle bones out. Let's go and turn that off right now, so that we can get the roots animation done. It's like that, and then it should just move up. But, just because of how things are, we go and make it so that it goes down, then up. So, that, and of course, I don't have manual or keyframing on, so let's do that. Because again, when you go back up, it's not quite like that, but there we go. And then let's go and make it so that the shoulder resets properly. Again, right there. No, I don't know why. Let me go and double check that the shoulder is actually going where it should. Maybe, not entirely. But we'll go and turn Wiggle Bones back on and it'll all be fine. Sorry that most of this is just animating. Animation is good, even though it is the most time-consuming thing you can do. Yeah, we just need to extend that by quite a few frames. So there. Okay. And for some reason, it's not remembering that Wiggle Bones is enabled on these two. Oof. Yeah, no, this seems pretty broken. You know, just re-enabling the... reopening the file should do it. Okay, and then we just need to make this a tad slower so that we can see what's going on a bit more. Let's go into the shader editor for the body, re-enable this part right here, go and check the animation timeline, off, on. Very nice. Perfection. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's go and save that. There we go. Let me go and reopen the file, but I just need to make sure... Uh-oh. I saved over the wrong version of the file. Though the old version should be okay. I'm going to fix that right now before I overwrite the file and get very mad at myself. So 1 second, everyone. How's it going? How's it going? I was not expecting this project to take off as much as it did, but I'm not complaining. Uh-oh. I am not complaining. It's a very simple effect. Like, I cooked it up, or let me rephrase that. It started as a simple effect. Like, I cooked it up in an hour, but then with the slightly more advanced version, I made it a bit more complex with like the UV tangents, and then I had to simplify it. Okay, I think I fixed the naming. There we go. So we should be back. Yes, there we are. So is the physics state working again? No, it's not. It's still broken. Why? Wait a minute. Yeah, Wiggle Bones is active. Yeah, what's your deal? I can't even disable it properly. But yeah, no, that part is just really messed up. Oh shoot. Ah, I forgot about this part. So, yeah, you typically, since I pressed I, it keyframed literally everything, which you usually don't want to happen. But that explains, that explains why things were freaking out. Let's do that, and then also make sure all that's happening. Okay, so don't press I, because it'll keyframe all of that as well. I'm not sure why, but it does. Torso is fine. Spine is not fine. Let's go and select all that. Let's go and... Nope, that's good. Okay, so now, there we go. So should I make it so that the neck kind of falls down a little bit? No, I should make these shoulder, at least this one, slouch a lot more. Do that, copy you over to there, there, just like that. There, just like that. Or no, it needs to be slouched over even more. Hopefully we can get a little bit of that, we're getting a little bit of that, which actually doesn't look great. So yeah, this effect needs a bit of work. We're at 30 minutes, even though for me it's felt like an hour. I'm not sure why. But I think I'll call the stream soon. There we go. 1, 2, and then back up. Okay, so for the lighting needs work. So in classic fashion, I'm going to disable pretty much all the lights, except for that one. That one works well. And that one works well as well. Okay. So with this one, we just need to make this one work well. Okay, and I can always go back if it doesn't stuff as requested. Maybe what other camera angles could work here? No, I think only this one could. I really want to highlight the wrinkles. But the lights need to work well in both that way and that way. That almost works. Like if we have one up here, like that. Rim lights fix all your problems. Actually, let's go and turn on the high-res version of this. I think I might need to... The normal bumps there are looking a bit worse. Like they look good with the reflections, but not so much with everything else. So let me go into the node group and tone that down a lot. I still want it, but just not as much as it. Let's go and check the HDRIs. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. I kind of like that one. That one's pretty good. There it goes down, it turns off, then back on, and then it goes up. I'm still not 100% sold on it. But it's not bad. Like, we can see the arms here, it works very well. On the underarms. Let's see, at the legs. Well, nothing's happening at the legs, of course. So again, right here, it's just like that. Let's go and move the camera, or not the armature, because maybe, do I want depth of field? Will that work well? Oop, whoops. I'm in an old version of Blender where the color picker does not set the depth. So there, way too much depth of field, you know. A little bit can go a long way. make things look more real, potentially. So if I set the ratio to be like a 2:1, and then really crank it up. Yeah, it could potentially work. Probably not. I want it to see all the texture, at least for now. I think the suit might just be too shiny. So if I do that, it looks much more diffused, which is nice. But no, it has to be the bump. The bump's not working too well, at least on that material. Because, again, on that part there, it looks fantastic. But for some reason, on this part, it doesn't look right. So let's go and turn that and that like that, which helps. Makes it feel a lot less sharp, which over there feels a little worse, but over there feels better. I can turn up the detail, which if I do this, it'll look really, really bad, but I want to show you all what that looks like. It looks like it's like a, oh, what is it? Some sort of foam. You scrunch it up. Yeah, you have that, which I guess could work if you want like a super duper thin fabric, but that is not what we want for this one. We just turn it down to basically nothing there. Yeah, no, that's not too great. So let's just go and Control Z all the way back. And right there, whoops, I wanted that to be 3. We could just test everything. You know, that's not too great. Yeah, I think I just need to make like a Wrinkle map UV generator. And then that would be fine. There we go. And that works well. There we go. So as we can see, the wrinkle, they're working just not quite the way I want them to. Actually, let's go and take a look at the actual tension map and see what's going on there. Okay, so it's completely even over that entire thing. Okay. Well, I guess for now, it was a good test. Look at that. Yep, all that is grand. So, okay, let's go back to the original file as we close out the stream. Back to the one that works very, very well. Okay, so like in this scenario, we can see it's at its peak. It just works so, so well. Let's see. Let's go over here, take a look at it. Yeah, that looks amazing. Let's read the chat. I remember a Wrinkle Map geometry node group that got upgraded from needing a separate dummy object to using info directly in the node tree. In this case, this one does not need a dummy object. It's just using the rest position, which I assume the one you're referring to needed an actual object in its rest position. But we have the rest position attribute, so we can just use that instead, which is much more convenient. Yes, that is how I made this little Wrinkle map project. People were asking, am I going to put this up on Gumroad? I'm not sure, but until I can actually make it look really good on its own, and it wouldn't be on Spiderman because this model is from somewhere else. Unfortunately, I forgot where because I've had this model for like 2+ years. I did redo the materials. So I might put it up on Gumroad, at least this version I think I could put up, but it would be on my generic human form, and that would be good. And maybe I think it would have to be free because it's just not production ready at the moment. A lot of things would need to change for it to be production ready, but it's close. It's close. So yeah. Okay, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.